Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Awthentik and The Beard, the best television show not on television. This is the Parlay, where we are going to talk about fantasy football, NFL bets, everything you need to know right before kickoffs. And this is a no Chicago Bears, Washington Commanders talk zone, just so everybody knows. Also, there will be no Notre Dame slander or Baltimore Orioles slander for the remainder of the show. Just want to put that out there. And without further ado, I'm going to bring in the brand new member of College Hunks Move Your Junk, the best co-host in the entire universe, Mr. Awthentik himself. Welcome to the show, sir.
College Hunks, all your junk. Yeah, man, I've been out here grinding, man, but you know what it is, man. We getting to it, man. Had to get the setup a little bit more in order this week, man, so we're going to try to keep these streams booming for y'all. Shout out to everybody who pulled up bright and early, man. We're going to get this fantasy talk popping. The Buffalo Bills, man, down 11-7 right now. I definitely picked the Bills in this game. I tried to put that out there in the universe, before we started the parlay, so I can't, be like, oh, I didn't get that game right, or try to use that as one of my one-ups and whatnot. But Jacksonville's approaching the red zone right now. 11-7, 17 seconds left in the second quarter, man. So, yeah, we got some early football. I'm happy about that. I'm going to be on the go today, man. And, the phone going to have the red zone on, red zone popping, had that New York Giants game open as well.
Yeah, it's the NFL. It's week to week. You just never know. Buffalo lately has looked like the best team in the National Football League, especially after that Miami Dolphins game. And then now it's like, here we go. You're down 11-7. And Jacksonville is in the red zone right now, third down and 3. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in this game. Oh, a big sack for Buffalo right there. Awesome. All right, big shout out to everybody in the chat. We appreciate all the love and all the support. Shout out to everybody who's watching us across every single platform. That's Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and of course, right here on the YouTubes. Big shout out to you guys. Don't forget, if you have any fantasy football questions throughout the show, drop those in the chat, and we will get to them as we progress through the show. I see some questions in the chat already, so we're going to go ahead and jump to those quick questions before we go into our sections, where we're going to give you guys some of our, must-starts, our must-sits, and, of course, everybody's favorite section, the sleeper section. I will not be talking about sitting CeeDee Lamb, but for all our Dallas Cowboys fans who watch us, there might be somebody in the sit section, so stay tuned for that and check that out.
How about those Commanders, man? How about those Commanders?
I said this is a no Commander Chicago talk. So
speaking of fantasy football, I've got Justin Fields and DJ Moore on my fantasy team. I did not give up. I definitely started them for 4 weeks straight, and it's paying dividends right now. I'm a pretty happy person here. I got 100 points with 2 players played through. I mean, you can't beat that.
Bro, as soon as that game started, I texted Awthentik. I just said, bro.
Literally, as I turned it on, the ball's like in the air going to DJ Moore for a touchdown. I'm like, yes.
Absolutely insane. So, yeah, let's go ahead and jump into some of these questions really quick for the people in the chat. All right, up first is going to be Simon. C wants to know, need to start 2 with Jahmyr Gibbs and Amon-Ra St. Brown out. That's crucial. Tank Dell, DeAndre Hopkins, Drake London, Zay Flowers, Javonte Williams, Pickens, and Waller.
You got some good options, bro.
Yeah, you got a lot of good options. I do think Javonte Williams is out as well, if I'm not mistaken. So that'll make things a little bit easier for you. This is
Give
tough.
me the rookies. Give me the rookies. I'll go Tank Dell, Zay Flowers all day long.
So
Zay Flowers had a touchdown call back last week, too. He would have had some more fantasy points. I think he ended up with just 8 last week. And Tank Dell, man, the chemistry with C.J. Stroud has been amazing.
Yeah, I actually really like Tank Dell as well. Zay Flowers, for me, it's a toss-up between DeAndre Hopkins and Zay Flowers, but that Pittsburgh pass defense is pretty damn bad. So I think I'm going to go with Awthentik and go Tank Dell and Zay Flowers for sure. Big shout-out to Juan Pena Jr. for my second league, who for my wide receiver 2 and flex spot. So we're picking 2 here. Romeo Doubs, Jacoby Myers, Michael Wilson, Tank Dell, or Mims Jr.
Give me Tank Dell. Give me Romeo Doubs.
I'm right there with you. Dobbs has been getting hella targets this year. So I'm also going to go with Romeo Doubs and Tank Dell as well. Juan Pena says, my wide receiver spot 3 and 2 flex spots. So we're picking 3 here. Jaden Reed, Tank Dell, Mims Jr., Gainwell, Tutu Atwell. I know the line is brutal, but my starters are on a bye. Yeah, this is the first week for bye week, so there's going to be a lot of, mixing and matching here as far as filling those spots go. I like Jaden Reed, but I don't know if the targets are there. I think we're definitely going to go Tank Dell, but Yeah, so this is going to be a different league than your first question. Okay, so we're going to go Tank Dell, Tutu Atwell,
Mm-hmm.
and Mims Jr. He might be the guy that gets the ball with Sutton and Judy being locked down by some of that good New York Jets defense. So I think I'm going to go Tutu, Tank Dell, Mims Jr.
Now, did Juan ask about the question that had Romeo Dobbs in it as well?
Yes.
So we already got Romeo Dobbs in this same
That's
lineup.
why I was trying to figure out if this was for the same league or not. I think it might be for the same league. So if it is for the same league,
I wouldn't do Jaden Reed. If it's different leagues, I would do Jaden Reed because then you kind of got like a fallback security blanket in case one wide receiver doesn't work, you got the other. If it's the same league, then I got to go with the Beard on this one. Go Mims, Tank Dell, and Tutu Atwell.
Big shout out to James Funk, always holding us down on the Facebook side. Says, I can only use 3 of these running backs: Mostert, Achane, Jacobs, and Kyron Williams. I love Kyron Williams. I don't love the matchup this week against the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to go 8. It's so tough. Do you start Achane and Mostert? I think you do against the New York Giants.
That's tough. That is tough. Nah, I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could start 2 running backs in the same backfield.
It's tough. I listen, I know it's like against everything, but I think in this particular instance, I would go Achane, Mostert, and Jacobs.
I know Achane's been lighting it up. I just want to see what Mostert has done the last couple of weeks and what the attempts has looked like. I mean, last week, 7 for 9 yards. The week before that, 13 for 82.
Did he have any receiving though last game?
I don't got receiving numbers handy, but I can get to him.
Because I think that's what he's been like kind of being a receiving
Buffalo, he had
back.
5 targets, three receptions for 36 yards. I think I let Raheem Mostert sit this one out. I've been telling people since like our last show that we did with Achane, just ride that, until it's, the hand is hot right now, so go with it. I think Raheem Mostert's kind of being like, playing second fiddle to what Achane is doing over there. So, and I'm not a huge fan of Kyron Williams, but I mean, he's going to get more volume, I feel like. So I'd go Kyron Williams. I think he can maximize potential, but you can't go wrong going with Raheem Mostert. But that two running backs in the same backfield worries me.
Ertz or Goddard?
Flip a coin. Don't matter to me. I mean, I think Ertz probably, I think Ertz has a little bit of less competition in the wide receiver room or in the pass catcher room. So I'd go Ertz.
I think I'm also going to go Ertz as well. And
They're
then
going
Kirk
up against
Cousins.
the Bengals this week, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins or CJ Stroud. That's tough.
I like Kirk Cousins on this one. Going up against the Kansas City Chiefs, it should be a high-scoring affair. You would imagine that the Vikings are going to be down, on the scoreboard late and still having to throw the ball in garbage time. C.J. Stroud has played some really good football, though. I picked up C.J. Stroud 2 weeks ago, and he's just been sitting on my bench handcuffed. I like C.J. Stroud as well. What's the matchup for the Texans today? The Falcons?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that Falcons defense isn't great. I think you could go either or. I think C.J. Stroud's probably a little bit more risky.
Yeah, I also am going to go Kirk Cousins just because of that pace of that game. I expect it to be high scoring, but CJ Stroud is always a good option to have, especially with a guy like Kirk Cousins as your starter. Big shout out to Jason, H2O, wants to know Kyron Williams or Breece Hall. Breece Hall, this is the day I think Breece Hall gets unleashed.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. You could be ahead of the curve here if you start Breece Hall. I do think he's going to have a pretty big game today. And I'm going to talk about some of those numbers in a little bit. So I go Breece Hall over Kyron as well.
2 Packers wide receivers, Romeo Dobbs or Christian Watson, full PPR.
Dobbs just seemed to have more of the chemistry so far with Watson coming off the injury early in the year. Give me Dobbs.
I'm going to go Dobbs also for that exact same reason. This is going to be an interesting concept this week. Should I sit Zach Moore with Jonathan Taylor coming back? Big shout out to Kellen No Mo.
I both of these guys will get benched this week, man. Yeah, I mean, they're going up against the Titans, right? And the Titans have one of the better rush defenses in the league. They were number 1 through 3 weeks. Now they're number 4. They're only allowing 70 yards per game.
Yeah, I think, listen, I loved Zach Moss. I thought that, he's done a great job without Jonathan Taylor, but there's no way that they sign Jonathan Taylor, full participant in practice, sign him to that big deal, and then he comes in and Zach Moss gets more touches than Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor will be RB1.
I don't know about that. I do think that this might be the only week that you see that, where the carries should be pretty split, I would imagine. But I do think that Moss is probably going to get more. Taylor's coming off an injury, man, so I just don't see them just going out there, throwing him out there to the Wolves.
And last question before we move into the sections, and it's going to be a interesting one. Waddle or Puka? I love Waddle, but you can't. Puka's like Achan for me right now.
I'm worried. I'm wondering why is it a choice between these two? I want to know who the other wide receiver is.
That's the real question.
That's the real question because Puka definitely balling out. Waddle coming back off the injury, and man, they're going up against my Giants today. That if all goes according to schedule for the Miami Dolphins in Miami, I mean that offense should eat. The only thing that would hamper Waddle a little bit here would be if Miami gets out to an early lead, like really early, and they kind of coast to victory, and they're just relying on the running game in the second half. Then you might not get the target you want to see out of Waddle. But yeah.
So this is what's interesting. So I guess he says, who sits between Waddle, Pittman, Puka, or Breece Hall? Ooh.
This is Michael Pittman Jr.?
Yeah.
I'm sitting Michael Pittman Jr. probably.
Yeah, I think that's going to have to be the one. And he's been doing really well. He's averaging like 14 points a game right now, fantasy-wise.
Yeah.
But I think, you got to sit Pittman. I think that just makes the most sense right there.
Yeah, I'm with that.
So before we get to the rest of your questions, we're going to go ahead and run into the sections. We are going to start with what? We're going to start with sleepers. Is that what we're going to do here?
Yeah, some of these things are a little different. Okay, yeah, I'm good.
All right.
So what you want to do? You want to start with sleepers, or is that what you're saying? You don't want to start quarterbacks? You want to start sleepers?
Let's start with quarterbacks.
You want to start sit 'em?
Sit 'em?
Let's start sit-ems. Let's start with sit-ems. Get that out the way. Those two sections to me are getting so just difficult to find players nowadays. It's like if you've been sitting, you've been sitting. So let's start with the sit-ems.
All right, here we go. Hit me. Ladies and gentlemen, let me get my listen. Marcus came into the building at the exact perfect time, my friend. Big shout out to Marcus in the chat. Shout out to all the Dallas Cowboys fans in the chat. My first guy I'm going to sit is going to be Dak Prescott. I'm not sitting Dak Prescott because I think he's going to have a bad game. I'm sitting Dak Prescott because I think he's going to have an average game. I think there are better options out there at the quarterback position this week than Dak Prescott. So if you don't have that option, I'm not saying to sit Dak and go put in some random jabroni, you know what I'm saying? But I just think that with Dak, it's going to be an average game, maybe like 200 yards and a touchdown. So I'm sitting Dak.
This is what I always do with my homies in my spaces, right? When they say, like, I think there's much better options, right? Just give me one option. Who's a guy that you would think that's maybe out there on waiver wire kind of vibes that will give you a better game than Dak Prescott will give you today so I can hold you accountable?
C.J. Stroud.
Is C.J. Stroud out there?
C.J. Stroud might be out there.
C.J. Stroud's sitting on my bench right now. He's chilling.
Exactly. So if I had C.J. Stroud and Dak Prescott on the same team, I would start C.J. Stroud this week.
Yeah, but I was
thinking
more waiver wire. Like, I don't think C.J. I would love to see the ownership percentage of C.J. Stroud right now. I would imagine he's owned in at least a good 75% of the leagues right now. But I'll give you that one. I'll give you the pass on that one.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm also going to be
generous, authentic.
I'm also going to be sitting Alexander Madison. I think this is the week that Cam Akers has his breakout Minnesota Vikings debut. So I'm sitting Alexander Madison. I think Cam Akers is a guy to keep your eye on this week. Shout out to Marjorie, says, nah, play the random jabroni. Oh, we got somebody in the chat who says that they're starting CJ today over Dak Prescott.
I thought about starting CJ Stroud last week, but, I got faith in Justin Fields, and he went out there and did what he had to do, back-to-back games, 4 touchdowns, 300 total yards. My guy's starting to put it together here.
So the statistic on the Sleeper League app is 81% of the rosters own CJ Stroud.
Yeah, that makes sense. And, Sleeper, more people need to transfer over to Sleeper app. That's the best fantasy football platform out there.
77% owned in Yahoo leagues.
Look at your boy Authentic right off the top, man. 75 or above. Look at your boy. So should we force the Beard to give us another name off the waiver wire? Matthew Stafford. Are you starting Matthew Stafford over Dak Prescott today?
Yes. Matthew Stafford, I mean, it's going to probably be a big shootout game there.
I don't know about all that. We're going to see.
Yeah. After Alexander Madison, the last guy I'm sitting is going to be George Pickens. That Ravens defense has been playing pretty good. And Kenny Pickett is going to be playing at quarterback less than 100%. He's been struggling at 100%. So less than 100%. I think George Pickens, he's on my team and I have to play him. That's why I'm telling everybody else don't play him. So I'm sitting George Pickens this week.
I got you, man. So for me, Dalvin Cook versus the Broncos, 2.5 yards per rush right now. It's 48th among 48 qualified runners. So he's pretty much the worst running back out here. Jonathan Taylor's another one that I'm sitting this week versus the Titans. For me, it's more of a wait-and-see type of thing. You know, don't just go out there, guy gets healthy. You want to just throw him into your lineup hoping that he could give you the productivity that he gave us a couple years back when he was the number one running back in the NFL. Titans have the fourth-ranked defense. I talked about that. They're allowing only 70 yards per game. And then last, Drake London, man, versus the Texans. Drake London had a touchdown in London last week, but he only had 28 yards receiving. Right now, he's only averaging 5.5 yards per 5.5 targets per game. So that's just not enough volume for me to commit to Drake London. I had him on my roster last year, and it was a bit of the same. That's Arthur Smith over there with the Falcons, and I think Arthur Smith is struggling. We were having a conversation in the spaces if Arthur Smith is just as bad of a coach or coordinator as my man Luke Getsky over there in Chicago, but Luke Getsy definitely got it together this past week, and he's got Justin playing some good football. So wait and see on Drake London. I feel the same way about Kyle Pitts, man. Both of them kind of struggling over there. I think it's time for maybe a change of scenery as far as offensive philosophy and offensive play call over there.
Kyle Pitts is it's tough to watch right now. All right, one more question regarding the sits before we answer a couple other questions. Am I starting Dobbs over Dak Prescott?
That's a good one. That's a realistic type of question.
That's a realistic type question. That would be a little tougher for me to automatically say yes. I think that would be.
I don't understand why. Dobbs has been playing good ball.
Listen, and I like Dobbs. I don't know about that situation fantasy-wise. I think I would start Stafford over Dak before I start Dobbs over Dak, but I would consider starting Dobbs over Dak. But I think they would probably put up similar numbers. So that's what would kind of scare me. I would see Dobbs with 1 touchdown, 200 yards, same thing as Dak. So for me, that would be a little bit.
Bengals haven't been good either. They're going up against the Bengals today, and the Bengals have not been good.
No, that's 1-3.
Like it really. This is gonna sound a little. We'll get to this when we get to the pick'ems, right? It would not surprise me if the Cardinals go out there and, like, not only win that game, but handle the Bengals. The Bengals have just been a shell of themselves this year. I don't know what's going on with them.
Yeah, it's been very, very tough to watch if you're a Bengals fan. So we're going to go ahead and answer 3 more questions before we get into the next section. Kyle Key, what's going on, Kyle? Good to see you, brother. Another Houston Texans fan in the house. Pick 2 in the flex. Tank, Hopkins, Thielen, Watson, McLaughlin. It worries me Tank only had 1 reception on 3 targets last week. Tight end, Jonnu or Ertz?
Yeah, I like Ertz at tight end. Where was Jonnu Smith at again? I remember he left New England.
He's in Atlanta.
He's in Atlanta now, right? Yeah, I go Zach Ertz. You know, for me, I'm starting to have a fantasy rule here. Like, you got to pick the teams that are also better. Like, you can't just focus on just the player. You got to look at the teams that are going to make it down to the red zone more, maximize their trips, teams that are scoring more. I just think that Ertz over there with the Cardinals is just a better option right now, especially with no wide receivers over there. So I'd go Ertz as far as the tight end. And don't with the whole Tank Dell thing, man, like don't allow 1 week to kind of discourage you. I definitely keep Tank Dell in the mix here. Your other guys it's very difficult here, but I think I'd go DeAndre Hopkins.
I'm going to go Tank, and I'm going to go Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen is quietly having a very, very good year.
He had his best game of his career last week, which definitely boosts those numbers a little bit.
He is clearly the #1 target right now in Carolina. So I just think that, especially if it's in a PPR league, I like Thielen in a PPR, especially a full point PPR.
Yeah.
I think he's probably going to get you close to 10 targets a game. So for me, volume is there. I'm going to go Tank and Thielen in that one. Big shout out to Kyle. Up next, David says Javonte Williams, assuming he plays, versus Kenneth Gainwell. Hip flexor is brutal. He might go try to drag a few guys and shut it down. I'm staying it sucks because Gainwell is just like Swift.
Swift is doing so well.
But Javonte Williams, I'm staying away from Javonte Williams. So this is a tough situation for you, no lie.
Yeah.
I have to go Kenneth Gainwell. I can't trust Javonte Williams. Hopefully you'll get a more of an idea of what Javonte Williams' situation is going to be like closer to game time, because I think that's a 4:00 slate game. So and I think both of those games are 4:00 slates. So you should have a little bit more information getting closer to that game. But for me, I'm going Kenneth Gainwell.
I don't know, man. Like, Gainwell, this is a really tough one. Like, you're in a bad situation, I can tell here, by just having to start one of these guys today. I'll stick with the Beard and go Gainwell. I guess their offense has a little bit more potential to probably score points. That neither one of these guys should be getting the touches. And then you got to monitor the injury with Williams as well. So, yeah, I'd go Gainwell until, further notice. But, damn, if Williams plays, how many touches do you think he gets? 12 maybe?
If that.
You would hope to see him maybe, he does have the opportunity to maybe score from the goal line. That's the only thing I'm thinking about with him.
Yeah. Hip flexor, though, 1 week?
Yeah. I'd go Gainwell. Yep.
Yeah. Big shout out to Motion Man, full PPR. Start Ertz, Waller, or Jake Ferguson.
Ooh, I started Jake Ferguson in the lineup today, even though it's a tough matchup against the San Francisco 49ers. Waller, I don't want to tell you to support anything New York Giants, and then you come back here and tell me, hey, man, this New York Giants fan told me start Waller, and he only got 3 targets on the day or something. Miami's defense is not fantastic. They are allowing some points and whatnot. But, yeah, I think I'm going Jake Ferguson. You know what you're going to get. Jake Ferguson also has 6 receptions in his last 2 games, each of his last 2 games.
I would be telling you this as a non-New York Giant fan, no matter what Chris Peace wants to tell you. I'm going to go Darren Waller. That's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go Darren Waller. Yeah, I'm going to go Darren Waller. PPR. I like him. And this guy is not on anywhere on my list, but I'm just going to throw it out there really fast right now. Wan'Dale Robinson is an absolute smash play this week
late,
on
man.
DraftKings.
You a couple weeks late, bro. Wan'Dale been doing his thing.
Yeah, but on DraftKings, he's like $3,200. He's like almost as cheap as you could possibly be.
Because he's probably not going to get in the end zone, too. That's the other problem with the offense. And that's why I worry about Waller. The offensive line, the protection for Daniel Jones right now, they're not giving him no time. He's seeing ghosts. He's having trouble getting the ball down the field. And they're saying Saquon Barkley is likely to play in this game today. And if he is, I'd look for them to just run the hell out of the ball against the Miami Dolphins.
Are they saying he's likely? I thought he was going to be out.
Yesterday, not even yesterday, in the middle of the night, Adam Schefter tweeted out that Saquon Barkley is likely to go. I don't know if anything has changed, but that was the last news I saw on it.
Big shout out to Rich checking in from Facebook. Says JT, Pacheco, or Madison. Sit 1, Madison.
I don't know, man. I don't see Taylor having a big day today. I really don't. Madison, has definitely had the fumbling issues early on in the season, and the Vikings are probably going to be throwing the ball a lot. But yeah, Pacheco for sure. Them other 2, man, I don't know, to be honest. I might go Madison. I really might go Madison. I don't think like they're just going to bring in Cam Akers and just completely, abandon what they've been doing with Madison. I think he'll still get some carries. JT, we have no idea.
Yeah, very true, very true. And last question before we move on to the next section: Jared Goff versus Stafford. Who to start?
I think I'm going Jared Goff. They're going up against the Panthers today, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going Jared Goff. Jared Goff been balling out, man.
Yeah, I love Jared Goff.
You know what you're going to get.
But in this situation, I'm going Stafford. By the hair of my chinny chin.
Against that Eagles defense.
Yep.
Any reasoning to that?
He's going to have to throw the rock. He's going to have to throw the rock.
Any reasoning to that? Stafford.
He's going to have to throw the rock. I'm looking at pure volume here. Goff is going to have.
Definitely just lost the Beard there.
He's going to have a little bit of.
There you go. Your internet coming back now.
Okay. Oh, geez. So Goff is going to have no Amon-Ra St. Brown, no Jahmyr Gibbs. So for me, I think that, he's going to have a Dak-like game where I think Stafford is going to probably put up 300-plus yards and a couple of touchdowns. So that's where I'm going with that.
I think Philly, that game's not going to be as high scoring as you think. Philly been beating a lot of teams in the 20s, I feel like. So I think they'll hold the Rams if they go on to win. I think they'll hold the Rams to around 20.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and jump into the next section here. We're going to talk about some sleepers. Hit me.
Right. Oh, with the hit me. All right, let's get it.
To our very own Awthentik and The Beard sideline reporter, Marjorie says the Giants are not expected to have running back.
I didn't even hear what you said.
The New York Giants are not expected to have running back Saquon Barkley in today's game against the Dolphins. Sources say Still
questionable,
officially questionable, though.
Nice little update there. That might yield well for Waller. Yeah, don't forget that StreamYard been doing their bull. So
yeah. Big shout out to Margie, always holding this down in the chat. All right, sleeper section, Awthentik. Tell me who you're hitting the snooze button on now.
All right, so this is not really quite a sleeper. I don't like when you do this, but Breece Hall versus the Broncos here. 0 touchdowns on the season. Hasn't breached 12 rushes all year long. Broncos rush defense is ranked dead damn last in the NFL. So, I mean, take this one with a grain of salt. He's supposed to be off the pitch count. For me, the thing about Breece Hall here is that he needs the big play. He needs the big play to be able to get the yards because he's not quite getting the touches. You hope that he gets the touches today. Just don't hold this one on me right here, okay? Like, he's in my sleeper section, but I'm not 100% sure he's going to have a big game. The Broncos are allowing 176 rushing yards per game, so I kind of felt like I was default. I had to put him in this section. Now, Rico Dowdle from the Dallas Cowboys, I don't think this is one for this week, but I think it's a great handcuff. Keep him on your bench. It's about to get real cold. We have not seen Tony Pollard in the cold yet play that running back one type of situation, and I think Rico is a guy who, once Tony Pollard kind of, I won't say falls off or maybe an injury might happen, touches start to limit a little bit, you can bring in Rico. He's also caught all 5 of his targets on the season. He's averaging 4 yards per carry on the year. And this last guy's going up against the Minnesota Vikings defense, who's not quite as bad as they were at one point last year. But this is Kadarius Toney, man. I think Kadarius Toney could have a decent day today. If he is available, we don't know. I think that game should be a boat race. 6 wide receivers have had at least 5 receptions in a game versus the Vikings, so somebody got to catch the damn ball. Outside of Travis Kelce in this one, I think Kadarius Toney could have a pretty big day.
I love Breece Hall today. I think that's a fantastic pick, and it does, to me, in my mind, qualify as a sleeper pick because he just hasn't produced since that first game, and that first game was pretty much production because of one big play, like you're saying. Yeah. So I'm all over Breece Hall today in DraftKings 1,000%. So I love that pick. So for me, sleepers, we talked.
One quick thing about the Breece Hall thing. So he, in games where he's had a decent day, he just to piggyback on what you're saying about the big runs, he had the 83-yard run week 1, and then he also had a 43-yard run. So yeah, it's 1,000% relying on the big play.
Yeah, and like you talked about, the Denver Broncos rush defense is not necessarily top tier, so I can understand this Breece Hall massive outlook for today. I'm all over Breece Hall. So for me, I like McLaughlin for Denver Broncos. I think that because of the situation with Javonte Williams, I just really like his opportunity in this game. They really liked him this offseason, so I think he's going to be a guy that's going to have a big game. Last week in limited action, he had 7 carries for 72 yards, 3 catches for 32 yards, and a touchdown. So you're talking about 104 total yards and a touchdown coming out of nowhere in relief for Javonte Williams. So I expect him to at least get some burn today, even if Javonte Williams goes. So I'm really all over McLaughlin. I have him in a couple of DraftKings lineups as well. And Josh Reynolds, no Amon-Ra St. Brown, no Jahmyr Gibbs. I think Josh Reynolds is going to prove to be the #1 target for Jared Goff this week, outside of obviously the tight end Sam Laporta, who we both love here on Awthentik and The Beard. And he's actually putting up some good numbers so far this year. He's averaging 11.4 fantasy points per game. So as a guy as maybe your wide receiver 3 or a guy to throw in a DraftKings lineup, I definitely like that as well. So that's going to be my other guy. My last guy is going to be Anthony Richardson. Not necessarily a sleeper, but this is a guy that I just want to encourage people to not be afraid to play in fantasy football. The guy can get you the yards on the ground. He's putting up pretty good numbers so far this year. He is averaging 23.4 fantasy points per game this year. 23.4 fantasy points per game, and he's averaging 43.5 yards rushing the game. So, solid. For me, I love a quarterback that's going to give me yards like that.
I think he has a rushing touchdown in each of his starts as well, too.
I know he had 2 in one game, and that was the game that he didn't even, finish the game because he got knocked out the game with the concussion. So, yeah, I love Anthony Richardson. I have him in my league that I'm in with Awthentik, and I have Sam Howell. I benched Sam Howell this week and started Anthony Richardson. Don't ask me why. Sam Howell put up like 30 fantasy points. So
Yeah, he balled out.
I'm really hoping that Anthony Richardson can get some
with
points
Sam
this
Howell,
week.
the one thing I like about him is, he holds on to the ball too long, but he does that to try to stretch the field. So I gotta respect that. I like that. Another one of your sleepers when you were talking about the Detroit Lions here. What do you think it is with Jahmyr Gibbs? Why they're not, approaching him a little bit more aggressive and getting him the touches when he's healthy?
Absolutely no clue. Especially
Yeah.
considering like you traded. I don't know. It was a really weird situation with Detroit. They traded DeAndre Swift, which I kind of understand because they just weren't utilizing him in a certain way, which was just weird to begin with, right?
Yeah.
And he was a little injured, and they decided to move on. So then they signed David Montgomery and then used their first draft pick on Jahmyr Gibbs and then don't play him. Even when David Montgomery got hurt, they were giving the ball to Craig Reynolds.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Which was weird. So I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to find the right packages, find the right utilization. Maybe they're going with David Montgomery, who's playing pretty well right now, and we're going to talk about him in a little bit here. So I have no answer to that question. And I think a lot of fantasy football people are very, like up in arms. Like they just don't know. There's no answer for it.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very interesting. We got a couple more questions before we move into the top plays at each position this week. Big shout out to our guy, always showing some love. C-Bands never stay lacking 45. So what's going on? Jonnu Smith or Hayden Hurst? I'm going Hayden Hurst all day.
I like Hayden Hurst, man. I'm definitely going with Hayden Hurst. He's been good little security blanket for Bryce over there. So we'll see.
Absolutely. So we're going to go ahead and talk to you all about our top plays. We're going to start with the quarterback position. So this is going to be our top plays at the quarterback position for this week. Authentic, hit me. All right. Hopefully StreamYard gave me enough time there with that nice grace.
They gave
nice
you some grace. I saw Rep the District asking about the background, man. You got to be happy that this looked this good right now. I'm in the middle of a move, bro. God damn, let me tell you, this has been a difficult, very challenging month, to say the least, man. Definitely.
Big shout out to Marcus in the chat talking about Texas A&M losing to Alabama. Yes, that was a tough loss for A&M. Cernock is also a Texas A&M fan in the chat. The Commanders' defense, I've started them, picked them up, and played them in every one of my leagues.
Ooh, every one of your leagues? Why would you commit to them? You being a fan.
Well, they were on the waiver wire. I'm like, Chicago, Washington, home game, comeback defense. It was all just...
You didn't think DJ Moore, Justin Fields, Khalil Herbert. No, you just ignored all that.
I was not thinking, obviously. So, top quarterback plays. I think Authentic and I are pretty much going to be on the same page here. Tua Tagovailoa. You got to play the guy. He's going up against the New York Football Giants.
Tagovailoa real well. I'll give you that, dog.
New York Giants are giving up 30.5 points per game.
3,000 yards a game?
Yeah, 3,000 yards.
Goddamn team.
And the Dolphins are averaging like 37.5 points per game, so it just makes sense to play Tua. He's averaging 22.9 fantasy points per game. Up next, Patrick Mahomes. Another situation going up against the Minnesota Vikings defense has given up 233.5 yards per game. They've also allowed the ninth most passing touchdowns in the National Football League this season. Mahomes averaging 21.7 fantasy points per game. So I'm running with Mahomes. And then Lamar Jackson, who is quietly having a good year at quarterback numbers. I know a lot of people like to just kind of like dismiss quarterback numbers when it comes to Lamar Jackson. I want to say he's like, if not leading, close to the top of the league right now, and it's it's pretty crazy. I think he's completing like 72% of his passes, somewhere around there. So I love Lamar Jackson. He's averaging 23.2 fantasy points per game. Pittsburgh allows the fifth most passing touchdowns on the season, and also Lamar's averaging 55 yards rushing per game.
I've got the Steelers allowing the most passing touchdowns on the season.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I got. Yeah. And they're allowing the 13th most fantasy points to quarterbacks right now per game. We're definitely locked in on the quarterbacks here, man. Tua versus Giants is going to be crazy. One thing you ain't got to really worry about with the Giants is the takeaways. You know, not one takeaway from the New York Giants on the entire season. 326 yards a game from Tua, 9 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 71% is ridiculous. Balling out right now. So I got Tua, I got Lamar, and I got Patrick Mahomes just because what is a top without Patrick Mahomes? Like, what is a top quarterback, segment without Patrick Mahomes? You got to put him in there. I think that Kirk Cousins is going to kind of test Patrick Mahomes today, too, because Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson, man, they can put up some good points on the board. So this definitely going to be a boat race as well.
Interesting information from our sideline reporter, Marjorie, checking in, says, the University of Miami played on the same field last night, and there have been reports early of Giants receivers slipping during warm-ups. So hopefully they can get some
sounds like another excuse we can add to the list of excuses for the New York Giants, right?
Oh, man, I can see Giants Twitter now. What if Daniel Jones didn't have to play on the same field as Miami Dolphins in University of Miami and Georgia Tech last night? It'd be a different story.
I remember against Dallas, they were like, but it was raining. I'm like, you think God was just putting the rain on our offensive possessions or something? Like, what did you think was happening here? Twitter is hilarious.
Big shout out to Facebook. Facebook is jumping today.
They popping.
A lot of love on Facebook today. Marcos Valdez says half-point BPR, sit one, Ayuk, Chase, or Puka.
Oh, my God. That's tough. Could you imagine sitting Jamar Chase on the bench? I just can't, even though the Bengals have been struggling.
I think you got to sit Ayuk. He's going up against the best defense of the three, right?
Yeah, man, that Dallas Cowboys defense does not quite look the same. And I'm not going to use the Patriots as an example because Mac Jones and that offense, they're just in struggle mode completely. But when you lose Trayvon Diggs, it does take away a little bit from that defense.
You must have a pretty good lineup if you have to sit one of them. I think you find a way to play all three.
This question hurts my soul right now. We're sitting Ayuk?
If you have to. Puka's getting like 15 catches a game. That you have to play him.
All right, we're sitting Ayuk.
Okay, here we go.
He's coming back off an injury like just, 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
We're sitting Ayuk. Damn, I hate that one.
2-2 or Tyler Boyd? 2-2.
2-2, yeah.
All day.
Big play capability.
So, listen, look, we're just talking about a bunch of wide receivers right now. Let's go ahead and tell everybody our top
Saquon
plays.
Is now officially inactive. Damn.
Inactive for Saquon. We're talking about wide receivers. Let's go ahead and talk about our top plays at the wide receiver position. Hit me.
I like that. I wish I had some auto-tune on your voice that I could control because I would definitely, little flat, but it was good. It was good.
That would be hilarious. Before we get into this, I have to highlight this. Shout out to every platform because they're coming in from everywhere. Shout out to our guy on Twitch.
I haven't logged into Twitch in maybe 2 years.
Yes, it says Awthentik. I was at the Giants-Cowboys game, and it was the case where it would begin to rain on Giants possessions and stop raining on Cowboys possessions. It was like someone pissed off the bad juju god.
Look at God. Shout out Doom one time in the building, man. Salute, bro.
All right, Awthentik. We're going to talk about wide receivers. I'll go ahead and start this one. I'm going to go Tyreek Hill. There's going to be a lot of Miami Dolphins here, okay? So I'm going Tyreek Hill. I don't think I need to say anything else except for literally on my notes, like there's all these numbers next to people's names. Next to Tyreek Hill, it just says NYG.
I had a couple like that. That's pretty grimy that you just put the name of my team next to Tyreek Hill. Just 58 yards last week on 3 receptions. He's got 470 yards on the year, 4 touchdowns. It's a team high. He's got 2 games over 150 yards. And in 2 games, he's averaging at least 19 yards per reception. This guy's going off. I saw, who was this? Mike Lombardi was talking about this on his podcast, right? The only way that you can possibly stop Tyreek Hill is you have to jam him at the line. But Mike McDaniel over there is doing a really good job of motioning him. They compared it to the CFL. You know how in the CFL they line them way back like 15 yards? You can move towards the line of the scrimmage with motion in CFL. Obviously, you can't do that in the NFL, but the way that McDaniel has been using him, he's putting him in motion at full speed so that by the time you're trying to cover Tyreek Hill, he's already in second gear running past you. So they're doing things to innovate the way that the offenses have been moving in the NFL right now. Watch a lot of people start to copy that too. But Tyreek Hill, man, yeah, big play today. I'm expecting him to come out in this game and be angry today and get a lot of yards.
That's not good for the New York Giants. And
Definitely not.
listen, I see a lot of people in the chat talking, reminding me, hey, Cooper Kupp's coming back. Cooper Kupp's coming back, okay?
Yep.
He might eat up some of those targets from Puka.
Truth.
That's very true. Or Puka goes even crazier because now you got to worry about Cooper Kupp.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, I've been talking about Matthew Stafford all day. I feel like I need to make a Matthew Stafford lineup as soon as this show's over on
I don't
DraftKings.
feel like that, but okay. But you're right about that. The yards per reception could go up, being that you got Cooper Kupp on the field now.
Yeah, so I like Puka today. I just think that in a PPR league, at the rate in which this guy is catching passes, he is absolutely a must play. So I'm throwing Puka in there. He's one of my top guys. And then obviously Justin Jefferson. The pace of play in that game. This is the one thing that kills me because every damn week I feel like we talk about pace of play and the over-under being like 52. And then the game ends up and it's like 17-10. And I'm just like, Jesus. Like I invest all this into these guys and I expect this game to be 44-36. But I'm going to stick with it right now. I'm going Justin Jefferson in this matchup. Okay, Justin Jefferson is averaging 28.3 fantasy points per game on average. 12 targets
yards
a game.
Reception. The dude is going crazy. And you know that he's going to get his. That's the thing. You know he's going to get his, and teams can't do anything to stop him.
Yeah. So Justin Jefferson is the last guy in my top 3 wide receivers this week.
I like that. Yeah, man. He's Justin Jefferson is halfway to 1,000 yards already. He's got 543 yards on the season, and they've played 4 games. 3 touchdowns. Should be 4 if you could count that touchback that he had.
Yeah.
And Jefferson has had at least 12 targets in 3 of the 4 games. So volume is definitely not a concern. First 2 wide receivers, I'm locked in with you, man. Justin Jefferson and Tyreek Hill for sure. And then how would this wouldn't even, I know you said no Commanders talk and whatnot, but like I got to talk about DJ Moore. I mean, the dude, 8 receptions, 230 yards for 3 touchdowns. He was seen on the sidelines going like this. I mean, he could have even had another touchdown there. Justin Fields definitely did miss a couple of throws there. This is now the Authentic show. Forget the beard. We're not talking about the Commanders no more. But yeah, that's what it is, man. DJ Moore balled out. I don't think anybody's going to have a better day than DJ Moore. You could lock that in. He's going to be the number 1 wide receiver when this weekend's over. There's
no question about it. I know I said this was a no Commanders-Bears talk zone today, but yeah, it's that's a game, bro. That's a game. Like I'm facing him in 2 of my leagues, and he put up 51 damn points. In one of my leagues, he put up 74 for bonuses because you get bonus over 200 yards and stuff like that. So a bonus for 3+ touchdowns. I mean, the guy just went bananas. I see you in the chat, Cernox, sleeping on Nico. Listen, ain't nobody sleeping on Nico no more. I've been talking about Nico Collins since Nico Collins was baby Nico.
You're right.
And I mean, listen, that kid's putting up some big numbers. Houston. Watch out. Houston and the Colts. The Jaguars better win this game because Houston and the Colts are much better than a lot of people had anticipated them being. Mm-hmm. So that division's going to be – I feel like that division's always like that. At the end of the year, everybody – there's like 3 of the 4 teams are all in the mix, like right down to the last couple of weeks. So that's a fun division for sure. So that's going to round out our top plays at the wide receiver position. Let's go ahead and get down to the nitty gritty in the trenches. The RTDB boys, okay? Who's going to be the top 3 running backs in the week in fantasy football? Hit me.
Much better notes on that one, Beard. I like it. Gotta commend you on that.
I'm showing my ranges right now, you know.
Went to like your that reminded me of like medieval times, when like the gladiators are about to battle. That's how they would start it with that hit me you just did right there.
So I'm gonna let Awthentik start off the running back section. Tell me what you got, my guy.
All right, I'm going two players in one game. I'm going CMC and Tony Pollard, man, on Sunday Night Football. The Cowboys kryptonite, the 49ers. Primetime game here, so you're going, the ante will be upped a little bit in this one. This is definitely going to be a playoff atmosphere. Can't forget that the 49ers have knocked out the Cowboys in the playoffs each of the last 2 seasons, so I'm looking for a lot of Tony Pollard. You know how the San Francisco 49ers like to do with CMC. They use him to perfection, man. Look, New York Giants, Brian Dable, Joe Shane. Yeah, the rest of the company. Mike Kafka. Y'all need to be studying what the San Francisco 49ers are doing here with CMC. Granted, this might be the last year we see Saquon Barkley in a Giants uniform. And Michael Knight, man, I saw that. I saw that slight shot at my homie Saquon Barkley. I would give you a skid today, but I'm going to give you a couple of womps right now. Don't you dare be calling my man Saquon Barkley soft, man. Come on. He's dealing with a high ankle injury, man, and those, you normally don't come back from those in 5-6 weeks, man. So he's trying to battle and get back on the field, and we definitely need him. And last, I think we're going to be locked in on this one, too, is David Montgomery, man. David Montgomery been balling out right now. He's coming off a game last week with 3 touchdowns, 121 yards on 32 whole RTDB carries, man. That's a beautiful thing. After missing week 3, and on the season, he's averaging 87.3 rushing yards per game. So Dave Montgomery, I mean, nobody thought that this was going to happen like this. Dave Montgomery, I think the Chicago Bears are definitely missing him for one. And I didn't think that he was going to go over here and get this many carries and be the featured back like this after the Detroit Lions, drafted a running back in the first round. And you saw them in their draft room, like celebrating like it was a kid's birthday in there, and they're not even giving that kid the ball. But yeah, Dave Montgomery definitely out here balling out. I'd look to see a big game against the Panthers.
I'm right there with you with David Montgomery for all the things that you mentioned, and I'll keep talking about it again. No Jahmyr Gibbs, no Amon-Ra St. Brown, and we're coming off of a game where I didn't even think about that the amount of carries that he had last week. So I that even pushes me more into David Montgomery love zone. You know what I'm saying? Not to mention, Carolina Panthers are allowing the 6th most rushing yards in the National Football League.
Sheesh.
So it's going to be a David Montgomery sort of day. Up next, listen, I have the trio. This is gonna be the third one of the Miami Dolphins here against the New York Giants. You gotta play A-Chan. I know people the other day were trying to tell us it was A-Chain, and I have to remind people that he came out and said it's A-Chan. Okay, yeah. So listen, A-Chan, you gotta play him until you can't play him, because the guy is just killing it all over the damn field. So he is a guy, you play him. Next to his name, we have On a Tear versus New York Giants, have to play.
On a Tear versus the New York Giants. Damn, it's like that. Maybe this is a good thing for us. Normally when these games get matched up like this, you might get a closer game. Maybe my Giants have a chance today.
It is the NFL. I am at this point now, especially after Thursday night, nothing surprises me. Even though I did tell everybody on Thursday night, do not take the Chicago Bears lightly. Okay? All right.
Yep,
so
you definitely did.
Last but certainly not least, we're going to go back to another rookie. Bijan.
I thought about that this week.
Okay, yeah. The Mr. Grey Poupon himself, Bijan Mustard. He is a must play for me this week. He's averaging 19.1 fantasy points per game, okay? He's going up against that defense, and they have allowed 28 fantasy points, 21 fantasy points, 18 fantasy points, and they gave up 103 yards to Najee last week. Najee Harris ain't had a 100-yard game in like 16 weeks.
Yeah,
so
he's been struggling.
Listen, I think Bijan is due for a bust-out game. I think that Atlanta Falcons-Houston Texans game is actually going to be kind of, it's going to be a little bit of a sleeper game. Might be fun.
The better quarterback's going to win that game.
Yeah, I got Houston winning that game, that's for sure. And we're going to talk about our picks.
You know the thing about Bijan, little interesting. No rushing touchdowns yet. So you talk about those averages per fantasy points per game. He only has 1 receiving touchdown on the year. So imagine if he starts getting in the end zone. And I think a lot of that is dependent on the quarterback just moving the ball between the 20s and, getting them in position in the red zone, which they haven't really done much this year. A bunch of low-scoring games for them. But Bijan is a guy, man.
Yeah, that just blew my mind, too. Like, think about it. He's averaging 19.1. He's got
no touchdowns on the ground. It's crazy.
That's wild. So those are our top plays in fantasy this week. It's time now. Speaking of picking some games and getting Houston and Atlanta, it's time, ladies and gentlemen, to
Houston and Atlanta. What was that song that said that?
I don't know.
It was a Drake joint. It was a Drake joint where he talked about Houston, Atlanta, Vegas.
Oh, you're asking the wrong guy when it comes
Yeah, I
to
know
the
you're
Drake
not a big.
catalog.
You don't really get down with no Drake. I know.
But big shout out to everybody in chat. We appreciate all the love, all the support across all the platforms: Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and of course right here on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, it is rapid fire time. We're going to go through each and every game, tell you who we think is going to win, cover the spreads, the overs, and the unders. And then we're going to get you guys out of here just in time to get to the betting window. Place those parlay bets. Change your fantasy football lineups. I got to hop in the car and go across the line and place my parlay bets for the day. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to kick things off with the New Orleans Saints, who are 2-2. They are headed to New England, who is a dreadful 1-3, but still a 1.5 point favorite. Over under is a disgusting 39 points. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to take the New Orleans Saints on the road in New England. I'm going to take them to win, and I'm going to take the over 39 points. I think we just get over. Maybe like 40 points. That's where I think we're going to land at. Watch out for Chris Olave and Awthentik's, one of Awthentik's favorite guys. Rashid Shaheed, I think, has a big game today. Keep an eye out on him. He's really cheap on DraftKings, too.
I was going to pick the Patriots to get this one, but the way you just, talking about my guy and all this stuff, yeah, you're kind of convincing me here. I'm worried about Derek Carr. He is coming off that shoulder injury and whatnot, so I don't know how much he'll be able to stretch the field. I think the Patriots are going to have a bounce-back game. They got blown out last week by the Cowboys. Was that 38-3 or something like that? I think Bill Belichick is going to find a way. They did just bring in, what's my man, J.C. Jackson from the Chargers. So
I wonder if he's going to play. He's probably a guy that can plug and play.
He probably won't play. But they brought him in to, supplement for Christian Gonzalez's injury, who's probably going to be out for the year. I think the Patriots are going to find a way in this one, man. Mac Jones, you got to start playing a little bit better, putting this team on your back. Give me the Patriots. I think they cover, but I'm going to take the under.
All right. Up next, going to be the Tennessee Titans. They are 2-2. They are headed to Indianapolis to face the Colts, who are also 2-2. Colts are 2.5 point favorites. Over under in this game is 43.5. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Authentic, tell me what you got.
Every time I pick against the Titans, they're a very average team. They end up getting a W, man. That team is well coached, and I think you know what you're going to get out of them. You're going to get fight. You're going to get grit. They're not going to just get blown out by teams. That's not normally their style. I like the Colts a lot, man. I'm a big fan of Anthony Richardson. I was talking about him all leading up to the draft as one of the better prospects coming out in this draft. He's coming back in this game. I just don't think they have enough weapons around him. I'm going to take the Titans in this one, and the over under 43.5. I'll take the over on this one. I think the Titans are going to put up some more points than people anticipate.
I think it's going to be interesting to see how the Colts play because they're 2-2, but they've given up some leads. They've fallen behind at times. They're young at some of these positions, and they're trying to learn. I think having Jonathan Taylor back is going to help. I like the Colts in this game. I like the Colts to cover the 2.5. I think they win by 3, and I'm going to take the over 43.5. I think this actually might be. I think some of these games that some people aren't really looking at, I think are going to end up being kind of exciting. So I'm going to take the Colts to cover, and I'm going to take the over. Up next,
if anybody's watching that Bills game, right now it's 11-7 with 1:54 left in the third quarter. But I saw there was a big injury on offense. If y'all know who that injury was, I saw McDermott walking on the field. I'm just curious who that was that got knocked out again. They've been dealing with a ton of injuries in this game too for the Bills.
Yeah, unfortunate injuries for sure. If anybody knows, drop that. Marjorie, our sideline reporter, we would deeply appreciate that. Thank you very much. Up next, Baltimore Ravens. They 3-1. 4.5 point favorites. They headed up to the Berg to face the Steelers, who are 2-2. Over under in this game, disgusting. 38.5. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Authentic, tell me what you got.
The Ravens can make a game ugly. You saw it against the Colts just a few weeks back here. But I don't know, man. I just think the Ravens are in a totally different class than the Steelers right now. They're struggling. Quarterback's dealing with an injury right now. Their defense is not quite what we've come accustomed to seeing from them for the most part here. I think the Ravens going to run this one up. Give me the over. I think the Ravens cover.
Yeah, I don't see the Ravens. This is another team that worries me sometimes. The Ravens, I feel like sometimes make it more difficult than it has to be. But in this situation, Pittsburgh is just not all there. Kenny Pickett's not 100%. That defense is giving up tons of yards in the passing game. I like Lamar Jackson. I think OBJ plays in this game. I think Zay Flowers has a big game today. I'm going to go Baltimore Ravens, cover the 4.5. I'm going to take the over 38.5. I think we just get there. just get there. Maybe like a 27-12 sort of situation. So I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take Baltimore to cover. Up next, it's the winless Carolina Panthers. They are 0-4. They are headed
winless. Sheesh.
Yeah, they're headed to Motown.
Are they the only team left? They the only one left that's 0-4, right? Bears got theirs. Broncos got theirs. That's it. I think that's it.
Giants have a win, so yeah, I think it's
chill, man.
The Carolina Panthers are 0-4. They're headed to Motown. The Lions are 3-1. Lions are a whopping 9-point favorite. Over under is 4-4. Kickoff is at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to take the Lions to win, but I think the Panthers find a way to backdoor cover this game. And I'm going to take the over 44.
I'm right there with you. No St. Brown in this game. Panthers are feisty, man. I think they can battle. Their defense is not trash. They should be able to stay close. So I think they cover as well. I'm with you. I'll take the you took the over. I'm taking the under.
It's tough for me not to take that over. When you say it like that and I look at the 44, I'm just like, yeah.
Imagine like 20, 24, 21, something like that. You get the over?
Maybe. We're going to stick with the over. Up next,
I'll take the under.
Low-key game, Houston Texans, 2-2. They're headed to hot Atlanta to face the Falcons, who are 2-2. Falcons are a 2.5-point favorite. Over-under in this game is 42.5. Kickoff is at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Awthentik, tell me what you got.
I'm going to take the over, and I'm going to take the Texans to win this one outright. I think they're a better team, better coached. Quarterback is better. Yeah, I'm going with the Texans in this one, man. C.J. Stroud has been a very pleasant surprise, and I did say don't sleep on the Texans this year. You know, they were a team with a new coach. People think that sometimes that's a really bad thing, and you won't win many games. But I'm very confident in DeMeco Ryans, man, coming over there from the San Francisco 49ers and being a former player. The relationships in the locker room, I'm sure, are locked down completely. So shout out to them for starting off this season on a better foot than most people anticipated. Both of these teams sitting at 2-2. So you got to commend both of these teams. Atlanta has more weaponry, I feel like, but Arthur Smith doesn't know how to use it. So yeah, give me the Texans in this one straight up, and I'll take the over.
I'm right there with you 100%. I think this game might be a little bit fun to watch. I'm going to take the Houston Texans. I'm going to take the over as well. So this would be a sneaky game, man. It should be fun. So definitely don't sleep on the Texans and the Falcons. Up next is going to be the New York Football Giants. Shout out to the graphics department, working overtime these days. New York Giants.
Boy, I tell you. I need to take a picture of this setup and put it on Twitter for y'all. Y'all be like, damn, how is you getting this stuff done?
Awthentik's like Bill Gates in the garage right now.
Yes,
so
bro. Yeah.
Shout out to the New York Giants. They're 1-3. They're going down to South Beach to face the Dolphins, who are 3-1. The Dolphins are a whopping 12-point favorite.
Whopping.
The over-under is 47.5. How the hell they got 47.5? I do not know.
Miami Dolphins putting up 47.
47-3. Kickoff is at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm just going to go ahead and give you mine first. I'm going to take the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to take them to win. And I hate taking double-digit spreads. I just will not do it. But since I have to, I'm going to take the Dolphins to cover the 12 points.
Last time we saw the what was it, a 10.5 against the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers covered that one, so probably not a bad idea here.
I'm going to take the under, though.
You going to take the under?
I'm going to take the under.
Let me see. I was at 30. What was I at? 34-13. Oh, that's right there, ain't it? 47.5. Dang, yo, I'm locked in with Vegas. All right, I'm going to take the under, but barely. I'm going to take the under, and it's going to hit within 1 point. Watch.
I'm trying to figure out what my score was for what I picked on Thursday, but yeah, I'm gonna take the under, just barely.
Yeah, 34. I'm gonna go 34-13, Dolphins.
Yeah, I think I was at 31-10 or something like that.
Yeah.
Because then you won up to me with the 3 points. That's what it was, 31-10.
That's what it was, yep.
All right, up next, it's the Cincinnati, back to the Bungles. They are 1-3, but they are 3-point favorites against the Arizona Cardinals, who are also 1-3. Over-under is 4-5. Kickoff is at 4:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that is. Listen, the Bengals got to bounce back. They cannot lose this game. I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals to win. I'm going to take them to cover the spread, and I'm going to take the over.
Yeah, you talk about a must-win. I haven't talked about a lot of teams having must-wins outside of my own, but this is a must-win for them. You cannot have a team like the Cardinals go out here and beat you if you're trying to make a run at the playoffs here. I do think the Cardinals are going to give them a run for their money today, though.
Yeah.
I'm with you, though. I'm going to take the Bengals. They haven't been scoring a lot, man. I'm going to take the under.
It's going to be interesting to see if they can get that offense rolling. They still haven't scored a touchdown in the first half either, right?
Oh, Trevor Lawrence sacked on 3rd and 11. The ball came out, too. Let's see if he was down. Have the Bengals not scored a touchdown in the first half? Is that what you said?
I don't think they have. I think both you and the Bengals. It looks
scary.
like Buffalo recovered that fumble, by the way.
Yeah. Did
That's
God
a huge
check if
play.
he was down or not?
Huge play. Up next, Philadelphia Eagles 4-0, 4-point favorites. They're headed to L.A., okay? The Rams, Matthew Stafford, seems to be a hot topic of conversation today. They're 2-2. The over-under is 50.5 points. Kickoff is at 4:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Authentic, tell me what you got.
I think Trevor Lawrence was down. That's what I got. Let me see. I don't know, actually. Kind of bent his shin a little bit. Might have stayed up off the ground there. This is a tough one, man. As far as the over-under goes, I think that's the toughest part about it. You know, are the Rams going to be able to come out here and score points on the Eagles' defense? Pass defense has not been fantastic for the Eagles this year, but I do have a lot of faith in that front. They definitely have the personnel out there. Shout out to James Bradbury, former New York Giant, out there doing things. 50.5. I'm going to take the under in this one. I think the Eagles are going to win this one. And 4, yeah, they'll cover the 4.
I'm going to take the Eagles to win. I'm going to take the Rams to cover. I think Philadelphia wins this game by 3 points, and I'm going to take the over 50.5. Should be a fun game.
Huge turnover in that Bills game, bro.
Yeah,
that is huge.
But can Buffalo capitalize is the question here, because they haven't been able to get anything going today. They only have 7 points so far, and we're already in the fourth quarter. So
they're on their own 46, so short.
Speaking of not scoring points and getting things together, it is the New York Jets. They are 1-3. They are headed to Denver. I almost put Zach Wilson in my sleeper list today to face the Broncos, who are 1-3. The Broncos are 2.5-point favorites. Over under is 43.5. How the hell they got to that point is beyond me.
Interesting.
Kickoff is at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Damn, this game is tough to pick.
Yeah, it really is.
I'm going to go. I'm going to go with the Jets.
Think about it.
I'm going to go with the Jets.
I'm going to give you some reasoning. You going to go with the Jets?
I'm going to go with the Jets.
Okay.
And I'm going to take the under.
Let me tell you why I'm going to go with the Jets. When you look at these two teams at their best and at their worst, the Jets' worst, it doesn't look anything like the Broncos. The Jets' best looks a lot better than the Broncos. When you looked at the Jets, even against the Buffalo Bills in Week 1, where Zach Wilson came in, they played good on defense. You look at them last week against the Chiefs, it was really one turnover that cost them the game, and yeah, that was on Zach Wilson. But I'm going to pull a line from my homie The Beard one time. I think Zach Attack is back, Jack. I really think he's going to come out here and have a decent game today against one of the worst defenses in the NFL, and I think the Jets are going to get the victory. Broncos favored by 2.5. So, yeah, that 43.5, we're not going to get there. I think it's going to be something like 24-3, maybe something like that, 24-7.
Hey, can we talk really briefly, like 2 seconds?
Yeah.
How the Philadelphia Eagles and the San Francisco 49ers always manage to swindle some like trades to just bolster in positions they don't even need to bolster.
Facts.
The San Francisco 49ers get Randall Gregory from the Broncos. They were going to cut him. And San Francisco's like, oh, nah, there ain't no way we're going to get him off of waivers before anybody else because we're all the way at the bottom of waivers. So let's just call him and offer him a draft pick before it becomes official. And then here we go. It's absolutely
we
insane.
talked about Randy Gregory a ton, and a lot of our Cowboys fam in the chat were like, Randy Gregory's pretty much expendable. We don't really need him over here. He's getting older, not great at stopping the run. He's been a pass rusher that I've liked ever since he's been in the league, man. Just very gritty, and he's determined to get after the quarterback. I like those kind of pass rushers, so it's a great move by the 49ers.
All right, up next, this is going to be maybe a little bit of a boat race. I wish we still had that graphic. The Kansas City Chiefs are 3-1.
Put that one to the side, man. It's like eventually you got to stop showing up to the job interview with the basketball jersey on, right? I was talking with Al VC just the other day. He's now the supervisor up at the airport, right? And he said this dude came in for an interview with the hoodie on, and through the interview didn't take the hoodie off. Can't hire you, bro. Get up out of here, man. So this is kind of that thing with the graphics. It's like, getting a little older here, man. You gotta be a little bit more professional, man.
Yeah, I know, but every once in a while,
and all these guys.
I kind of want to just see a boat fly across the screen.
Yeah, it was water. You know, it almost reminded me of those suds, the scrubbing bubbles. That's what it reminded me of. Yeah, exactly. A little too grown for scrubbing bubbles, man.
Kansas City Chiefs are 3-1. They're 3.5-point favorites. Are headed up to Minnesota. The Vikings are 1-3. Over under in this game is a absolute whopping 52.5. Kickoff is at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs, take the Chiefs to cover, and I'm going to take the over because I'm stupid, and I actually believe that these games are going to end up higher scoring like they should.
No upsets today so far from me. Take a look at the list of the other games there. Yeah, give me the Vikings.
Just cuz.
Give me the Vikings, man. I think the matchup is going to present some problems for the Chiefs today, man. You know, when you saw the Chiefs in week 1, when Kadarius Toney and all these wide receivers were dropping the ball and Travis Kelce was out of the game, they really struggled on offense to move the ball. And I think that with the Vikings, right, that defense, it still is pretty bad. But when you look at the pass defense, they were like somewhere middle of the pack. I want to say they were 19th in the NFL right now. They were dead last year. So Brian Flores is correcting things over there and getting things to look a little bit better. I just think it's a matchup thing here. I think if you can keep Patrick Mahomes on the sidelines, limit the amount of possessions that the Chiefs get, and the Vikings got to capitalize on offense, score on drives early and often. I think the Vikings are going to upset the Chiefs today. Kind of similar to how the Detroit Lions did opening day.
That's the way you ended it. If the Vikings want to do it, that's how they're gonna have to do it, just like how Detroit did it. So, Interesting pick, Awthentik. That's gonna be his upset pick of the week. It sounds like. Up next, big game here. Dallas Cowboys 3-1 headed to the Bay. Check out my man E40. Sprinkle me.
Yes, sir.
49ers are 4-0. They are 3.5-point favorites. Over under is 45. Kickoff is at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Night game, Sunday Night Football. Listen,
real quick before you give your takes, I just popped in my head here last night as I was watching this on YouTube. So there was some footage that's out there now from Bone Thugs and Harmony. When you said E40, it just reminded me of Bone Thugs. Definitely not the same region, but it just reminded me of Bone Thugs because we were big Bone Thugs and Harmony fans back in the day. And they have footage of them recording their album in 1999, right? Bro, them dudes was on some serious drugs. Yeah, some serious drugs. I'm gonna send you the link. It's kind of crazy. As an adult now, seeing it.
Was this the Easy Turtle 1999 album?
Yes, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. A lot of drugs. Had to been a lot of hardcore drugs too. Yeah. Continue. I just had to throw that out there before I forgot. Oh, it was bad. It was bad. Like, oh, it's crazy.
This is the biggest test for both of these teams. No question about it. Neither one of them have played anybody as good as the other one has yet. So this is a test game for both teams. I think the Cowboys can beat the 49ers. I think the 49ers can beat the Cowboys. I think it should be a good game, close game. This is going to be Brock Purdy's, I think this is Brock Purdy's biggest game of his career right now. So I'm going to take the San Francisco 49ers. I think I took them to beat them more than 3.5 on Thursday night. So I'm going to take the 49ers to win, 49ers to cover the spread, and I'm going to take the under.
Taking the under, okay. Shout out to all the Cowboys fam in the chat one time. I'm going with the Cowboys here. I just think, to beat a team 3 times in a row is really difficult. Granted, this is over the span of a couple of seasons and whatnot. And the Cowboys have probably been thinking about this matchup for a year and a half now. Okay, they've been trying to figure out how they're going to beat the 49ers late in the year. Now you got them on the regular season schedule. And I think this is probably one of those games where you're going to get to see the veteranship of Dak Prescott and you're going to see the youth of Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is a fantastic quarterback. Brock Purdy is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL as far as success rate against pressure. So he knows how to read the hot routes, and he knows how to make the adjustments up front better than a lot of veteran quarterbacks, better than a lot of five-year quarterbacks, if you know what I'm saying here, okay? Brock Purdy's a solid quarterback right now. And I saw, I'm not going to remember his name, but he was a pass rusher for the Denver Broncos at one point, the Tampa Bay Bucks, and the Raiders. He was on NFL Network today, and he was also on Colin's show, The Herd, the other day. And he was talking about, 1 year, a lot of quarterbacks can have one good year. When you start to get into the second season and you start to see these guys excelling, that's when you know that they could be a guy. He talked about the tiers of being good, being solid. I love that he put that in there, like quarterback being solid, then being good, then being above, a little bit above average, and then being great, and then being elite. Those type of tiers. And he had Brock Purdy, escalating those tiers, which I really like. I think Brock Purdy's a good quarterback, but I got to go with the Cowboys in this one. I think the Cowboys just good. Defensively, I like their matchup better. You just got to find a way to stop CMC. This is gonna be a fantastic Sunday night football game. I'm gonna make sure I'm glued to the TV for this one.
Absolutely. And then to finish it off, ladies and gentlemen, it is the Green Bay Packers. They're 2-2. They're headed to Vegas. The Raiders are 1-3. The Raiders are 2-point favorites. Over under in this game is 44.5. I'm going to tell you right now, give me the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to take the Packers to win, and I'm going to take the over 44.5.
I like that, man. Yeah, the Raiders have been a bit of a letdown, man. Quarterback's kind of been blah. You know, you're not utilizing your weapons quite properly over there. Defense is not that impressive outside of their edge rushers. Jordan Love kind of came back down to earth a little bit here. I'm with you, though. I'm going to take the Packers. I'll take 44.5. See, Packers probably going to get about 27. I'm going to go just under. I'll take the under.
All right. That wraps it up for our picks, ladies and gentlemen. We got a couple of quick questions, and then we're going to get you guys out of here in time to go to the betting windows and to set your fantasy football lineups. So to round things out, big shout out to our guy Renee with the $5 super chat. Says, what's up, fellas? Need to start two. Should I start Chain and Mostert or just one of them along with Devonta Smith? Salute. I think if you have the option with Devonta Smith, I think you just start HN and Devonta Smith.
Yeah.
It just,
I'm right there with
it's
you.
only reason why you would start both of them if it was like one of those like crazy like super flex lineups, or if you had absolutely no other options.
Or if you're playing the New York Giants, I mean, this might be the day. This might be the day. Imagine them running the clock out late in this game with a huge lead. Both those running backs could be eaten. Even that goes against what I said earlier, totally. But
yeah,
can't go wrong, bro. You can't go wrong here, I don't think.
I like that. Can't go wrong. Big shout out to Mike for the $2 super chat. Says, thanks for all you do. Should I start Cousins or Tua?
I'm going Tua.
Tua. Got to go Tua. It's just it's there for the taking. I mean, Cousins could put up big numbers, but Tua
you don't want to be that guy that missed out on a huge game from Tua. You know,
yeah.
Even if it all goes wrong, like, so what? Like, he's going up against a team that is just not ready to compete with them. And I'm not saying like the Giants, it's absolutely factual that they're going to just get blown out of the water here, but that's what it's looking like. The New York Giants look like the worst team in football right now. I don't think there's a team that's worse than us. Carolina Panthers are 0-4, and when I see them play, they look like a better team than us. So, I mean, this one could get really ugly and out of hand fast. You got two rookie corners out there going up against Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not two rookie corners anymore because Trey Hawkins they were like, hey, bro, come over here. We got a nice little warm seat for you here on the bench. So you're going to have a Dory Jackson out there. But, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a tough matchup for them. So you don't want to look up and see Tua put up 50, you know?
Yeah.
You don't want that.
Do not want that. Big shout out to our guy, Renee. He's going to give you guys a parlay of his own.
Okay, I like that.
Anytime touchdown, Sam Laporta, HN, and Breece Hall.
I like
plus
that.
1890 with the FanDuel 100% boost. So
I
that's,
might have to cash up you some bread for that one. That's a nice one.
That's a very nice one. I like that a lot, Renee. Shout out to Renee for dropping his own
really
parlays.
You got to
for
worry
us.
about, I think, getting in the end zone. You know, Breece Hall does not have a rushing touchdown on the year, right?
Nope.
So that's the only one you got to worry about. But
It
I like
sounds
it. I think
good,
he's gonna have
though.
a big day. Definitely sounds good.
Big shout out to our guy Donald Pratt in the building.
Hey, what's going on, Donald? Been a minute.
For the $2 super chat says, message me y'all personal, not show picks. Every show pick is my personal pick.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I ain't up here faking the funk, bro. They call me authentic for a reason, Donald. Come on now. I'm not about to be up here telling people what I don't believe in. Otherwise, might as well not even be up here, right?
Big shout out to Donald Pratt. We appreciate
For sure.
you rocking with us. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We appreciate you guys rocking with us for sure. Shout out to the Cowboys fans. I hope I didn't, hate too hard today. I see you guys have a great time in the chat between Marcus, Gregory, Kellen No More, formerly known as Kyle 001. Y'all have a great time bashing the beard when the beard bashes the Cowboys. But it's, I throw some love to you guys, man. I give you guys big flowers
I don't know
on
if you
Twitter.
show any love, man. I
gave big flowers to the Cowboys fan base on Twitter, man. People are eating me alive for that take.
What did you say on Twitter?
I was talking about how say what you want about Dallas Cowboys fans, but they didn't react
I did see that
to
one.
the
Yeah,
Cardinals
the
loss the
did.
same way that the Commanders fans reacted to the Bears loss.
I think that's more of a shot at your team indirectly more than it is showing the Cowboys some love and giving them some flowers. I think that's just a shot.
Here, big shout out Cowboys, man. You guys have a good game tonight, okay? Love you guys.
I like that. I like that.
But thank you guys as always for tuning in, man. We appreciate all the love and all the support. Especially right now as we go through this transition, you know what I'm saying? College hunks for junks is just it's not easy thing, man.
Got me working overtime right now. I told the beer man it's the first time it's felt like I really had a job. Like I feel like I got a job right now. Like I'm really out here hauling, bringing all this stuff to the new place, man. And I realize how many items I've accumulated over the years, man. So it was a good time to clean up, trash some things out, man. Yo, if you ever need to get to that dump beard, the dump that's over here in the back of the old
They
crib,
let you in without a DC license?
Yeah, just had to show a utility bill, man. Bang, easy business, man. And it's nice. You pull the truck up right there and you just throw all that shit out.
I remember trying, and they said nope. Go to Maryland.
Yeah, you know me. I'm always about the finesse. I'll be prepared for the finesse. I rolled up. First, I went up the day before, and I said, hey, man, I ain't got a DC license. I'm still living out here. I got proof of residence. Can I pull up? He was like, yeah. I pulled up with the proof of residence. He ain't even asked for it, man. That's how they be out here in DC. You know how they go. But, yeah, man, solid vibes, man. I hope we get these picks right. I'm going to say a couple prayers for my New York Giants, man. You know what I'm saying? Don't waste your prayers on no stupid stuff. And I think today is maybe a good day to waste a prayer for real because Miami Dolphins are probably going to walk. They're probably going to dog walk my New York Giants. My man Mike C said the New York Giants are playing like dog water. Can you just think about having to drink some dog water, man? Like what that would be like?
I'm trying to think. Which one would you rather drink, dog water or hot dog water?
Hot dog water all day. All day. Dog water. When I think about dog water, I think about like Beethoven or like the Beast from Sandlot or something like that. Dog drool getting all in the bowl. I'm definitely not dealing with that, man. But shout out to all of y'all that pulled up today, man. It was definitely a vibe, man. I'm going to finish out this day moving some stuff here, man. Enjoy y'all games. Best of luck with y'all fantasy. I know I'm going to need it. I definitely got to get to 2 and 3 here, man, to try to have a shot, make a playoff run here. Shout out to the Beard for putting this together, man. Skip the week here on the parlay. Y'all know what I'm saying? We back for good now, though. I'm going to make sure that we just grinding out. We also got some big news coming up, so pull up on Tuesday. On Monday, I'm probably going to have Bad Dog on the Giant Overreaction, too, so pull up for that one. It's going to be a vibe for sure. It's a holiday. Those normally be some booming streams. Oh, yeah. But until then, man, y'all know what it is. Keep raising that bar. Keep living those dreams because the universe flows in Technicolor and surround sound. Big shout out and rest in peace to the podcast GOAT, my man Combat Jack one time. And again, man, best of luck with y'all on y'all fantasy. We will catch y'all on the next show. I'll see y'all Monday, then back here on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the recaps. It's going to be an interesting one. We get to talk about that Commanders L to the Chicago Bears, along with the onslaught that's about to approach my New York Giants, 1 o'clock here Eastern Standard Time. So y'all be good. We'll catch y'all on the next one, man. Shout out to the gang. Peace.
Peace.